On this episode of Talking Chaos, we're going to talk about having too much fun. And as I recently found out from Condor, apparently about how Condor broke his dick. Condor, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we'll kind of get there. But I think I've encountered broke dick on 3 different occasions.
Jesus.
So it's like a recurring chronic case of broke dick. Or really bad aim. Before we get too into it.
Before we get too into the, Condor breaking his dick.
The symptoms of broke dick.
We'd like to back up a second and explain exactly what we mean by too much fun. And it's
this kind of started out as a question that I proposed Fred, and it was like, could we do an episode about having too much fun? And what is too much fun? Is it possible to have too much fun? And the short answer is absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. It's so for me, it's more of a you're having fun, you're hanging out with your friends, but there's something that something that you do more oftentimes not. It's you that causes this. That something
the individual, the person, the interior of us somehow creates our own dismay. It is a form of self-annihilation we're talking about.
The best way to describe it is that meme that's going around right now of the fucking. Everything seems to be going great. I'm having a great time. And then there's that moment of, there it is. And everything goes to shit afterwards.
Yep. So I had this conversation happened with a friend of mine. I brought it up with Fred, and here we are. But the conversation I had with my friend was, he said, how can you have too much fun? How can you think of ways that you can have too much fun? And the first one that popped into my head was blow cane. And I really like that way to phrase it. I've always loved the expression blow cane. I think we all know what I'm talking about here. It's very obvious. But too much blow cane can be a lot of fun. But it can also destroy your fucking life.
As Charlie Sheen would know.
Yeah, which apparently, I didn't know this, but I made a reference. Oh no, not Charlie Sheen. Never mind, different Charlie. I totally fucked that up, but it's completely okay. I'm going to roll with it. You guys will understand. I was thinking Charlie Day when he said Charlie Sheen. And apparently my reference to Bird Law an episode or 2 ago was a really great reference to Always Sunny in Philadelphia that I had never seen before. And I'm sure Fred has never seen.
I have literally seen maybe one entire episode of that entire show, and it was the pilot, and I, from then on, have never seen it.
Well, a viewer made it apparent to me that there was a great episode involving Bird Law. You should check it out, Fred. I think you would like it. Mm-hmm. I loved it, obviously. My people, birds, caw. And, but blow cane. So, obviously, blow cane, too much fun is bad news, bears, right? Basically anything you can have too much fun, like cars. If you have too many cars, you're weird. That's just as simple as it is. Yes, some people think that too many cars is fun. I think it's completely unnecessary. Look at Jay Leno. Nobody needs all that. That's a lot of cars.
If I may, there are certain people that have certain aesthetics so to some people, it may be more like their amount of fun, whereas to others, it may be too much fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Right, absolutely.
To your reference of blow cane, I've never actually done it. However,
You've never done the blow cane?
I've never done blow cane.
You've never rode the white pony?
I have not. I have not ripped a line of White Lightning.
You've never done the booger sugar? I hit Fred with that over the head. He just did not expect booger sugar to be so entertaining.
I actually throw that one at my significant other often.
Booger sugar?
Booger sugar. She hates me for it every single time.
You call her booger sugar?
God, no.
Oh, okay.
God.
That would be hilarious.
Anywho,
Oh, I'm gonna call one of my spouses Booger Sugar someday.
one of your spouses.
Yeah, like a mistress or something.
That's not a spouse is someone that you're married to.
Obviously, I don't know what that means.
Clearly, we loved each other so much we thought, you know what, we should get the government involved.
Yeah, no. As far as like, I have too much of the one fun to ever get married. First off, like the horizontal mambo fun, like this is how we got to the broke dick, right? Is because too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And so in the middle of
Coitus.
physicality, right? Yep. In the I'm not gonna call it love making, but it's that's so cheesy. It's not like food recipe. Like today on the cooking channel, we're making love. No, doesn't happen like that. So we're in the middle of like doing it, right? Like I just feel like I sounded like Kelso from that '70s show. So in the middle of doing it, it slips. My stuff.
You pull out just a little too far.
Right. And then to go back in, and it bends in a way that doesn't, and now you've like
You've
fucking straight up like elbow macaroni styled it. Right. And it hurts like a bitch, I swear to God. And it can bruise. So like suddenly not suddenly, this didn't happen instantaneously, but like 10 hours later.
With the amount of blood that's down there, I would assume it might be instantaneous.
It could be. I wasn't really paying attention to it. Changed colors in front of my eyes. But over the course of several hours, I noticed a bruise develop that was like big. It was like the size of a $50. Like it was purple, like deep purple. Like it almost matched the helmet. You know what I mean? Like he had a shield. I'll be honest, I was not prepared for that line, and I literally just came up with it off the cuff, and I had to like take a second and like wipe a little like laugh tear away. That was really good. Patting myself on the back for that one. So like obviously another example of how having too much fun can end in tragedy. And I was decommissioned for like 2 weeks, man. I was on the bench.
That is unfortunate. That I will. Oh, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, by the end of the 2 weeks, my balls look like the bruise I had. I know, a little too much information. I'm just saying, you don't like pulling out is always a good thing, but don't pull out too far and then go back in too quickly. Like that is, watch yourself. Everybody can bruise.
Well, I mean, in that aspect, having too much fun may be a bad thing. I mean, there's also the possibility of somebody having too much fun and not pulling out.
That's true. Yep. I was, oh my God, that was terrible. I was about to say I have fallen victim to that.
Jesus.
To parenthood. I was about to say I have fallen victim to parenthood. That's the shittiest thought I've had, like, in my life.
Good God. I will say right now, my daughter was on purpose. Very much so. There was no accident involved.
Okay, I'm, like, making these weird noises right now, trying to interject to sort of point out the fact that, like, even for the people that are, quote, trying, which I commend the people who have set their life up and have made the right steps. It can't be a very large number of parents that are doing that. Most of us fall into my category, which was like, oh, we weren't really doing anything to stop this, but it wasn't really something we were trying to do either.
As opposed to just, oops.
Yeah, I won't say oops. But it was more like that was bound to happen.
Statistically, this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, like I think That was probably where things were headed. Right. Right off the edge of the cliff. No.
But not to detract from the fact that we both love our Spawn
You're
as
giving me a
much.
lot of credit right now, Fred, to try to backlog the hole that I have dug myself with the comment that I have fallen victim to parenthood.
I'm trying to
Don't
help.
have too much fun, people out there. There are a lot of ways to protect yourself from procreating.
Well, to go off the having too much fun. So I have had, and maybe you have too. Again, you're not a big alcohol proponent, but I've had the evenings where you're hanging out with your friends, you're having a couple of drinks, and you're having that, like, the music's just right and everything's just coming together perfectly. And you know it's going to fuck up eventually. Like, somebody's either going to break their nose or fall down and break their nose, or some shit's going to happen, or you're going to end up drinking too much and, end up puking or feeling it the next morning. But there's always that moment of just, for lack of a better term, just like ecstasy of having that, like, everything's going correctly. And that, I suppose,
I don't know if that's ever happened when I've drank.
that's unfortunate. But
I've never looked around a room and went, yeah, this is exactly how fucked up I'm supposed to be right now.
and I've actually had those moments of like, not necessarily this is exactly how much I'm supposed to be fucked up, but I'm enjoying myself in the moment as it occurs. And so that to me may be the having too much fun. Like, it's not necessarily an instance of, like, we went down the sexual aspect of it, but it's not necessarily just a sexual aspect. It may be a social aspect. It may be a substance aspect. Like, we brought up blocaine.
The booger sugar. Right, exactly. I'll never get sick of that. What's another way that you can think of having too much fun? Because, like, thrill seekers is another one that I think of.
Oh, adrenaline.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Like, what was there was a story recently I found out about it. I don't think it happened recently, but I think that this is a true story that's probably happened on multiple occasions. But there are these people called urban explorers, right? Who like to go places you're not supposed to go, places that are restricted. And you can find a lot of them on YouTube. And I don't necessarily advocate watching all of these, because then it advocates what these people are doing. And I haven't really formed an opinion on the matter yet. I'm merely stating that this happens. But on more than one occasion, these guys have fallen. Like, they're trying to climb a building, and they have the minimum of restraining gear on, if any, and they just fall. So that is obviously a form of thrill seeking that can be hella dangerous if you have too much of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's a form of, like, having too much fun that can literally lead to death in these cases, or serious injury or maiming. And it's mind-blowing to me that those people exist. I'm okay with, like, skydiving, especially because there's a whole, like, series of steps. People don't just let you go out. I mean, I guess if you have enough money, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But
people don't just let you go up, jump out of a plane with nobody else attached to you. You actually start.
Yeah. You have to, like, start out and do so many hours attached to another human being.
Who knows what
and you share a parachute, right? Like, and if you die together.
But, like, who know? Like, you're attached to a person who knows what the fuck they're doing, and then they teach you what the fuck to do. And then,
right. I realized that as I was saying that, their strategy is you don't get to die alone until you have enough experience. Like, is that what they said? Like, that's basically what that is. It's so strange. Like, statistically speaking, their parachutes aren't, like, more likely to not fail because there's another person there.
True. So going back to the urban exploring thing, there was actually a recent article I saw that was people are now, because I hate doing the pop culture like references and everything, or the current pop culture references, but the huge like HBO Chernobyl miniseries.
Ooh, yeah. I
They're
totally am with you about like not liking that you even referenced that, but go on. It's okay.
and I hate
You have
myself.
my love and support.
There are actually Instagram models now that are going to the Ukraine and going to Pipret and Chernobyl and actually like posing and like in these areas that it's very like you're going and getting exposed to a decent amount of radiation, and like could potentially get cancer and die because, oh well, it's for the likes and everything else. And it's to me, it's the like, you're just fucking, like, for them it may be the I'm having too much fun. For us it's a you're just fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and like, I guess it's a matter of what you think you have to lose. And that's the case that, like, does the fun push you to the point where what you used to value, or what a lot of us think is worth value, like our fucking lives, not matter anymore because the fun is so much fun?
Well, I mean, going back to your blockane, there are a certain amount of people that believe that, doing that is more fun than having life, because I mean, eventually it's going to kill you if doing
I
it.
have a theory, and obviously I went to fucking medical school, not. But I have a theory that doing either one of those things for long enough periods of time rewires the brain in similar ways. Like repeating the same action over and over and over again rewires the brain in a very similar way, no matter what the action is.
Interesting.
And depending on what your brain regards as like
Fun.
I don't know, stimuli, like the verifiable result of what you're doing, it can be a good thing or a bad thing, or what other people would refer to as healthy. But again, I'm not gonna. I was serious about not going to fucking medical school. Do not take any advice from me about what I theorize, please. I don't want to make it sound like driving a car to your job repeatedly every day is gonna have the same effect as doing fucking kilos of cocaine. Okay, that's not what I'm saying.
Or jumping out of the airplane, or whatever
Right.
else it is that people feel the need, like the adrenaline junkie part of it. Like, what's funny is so there's multiple forms of adrenaline junkie. There's people that, skydive. There's people that, base jump. There's people that go and get in fights in bars because
Yeah,
apparently
shit. Getting drunk and having unprotected sex will give you quite the rush. I can understand where that might be referred to as an adrenaline junkie.
Jesus.
I'm just saying, it's a thing. I'm not participating in it. I'm just saying, it's a thing.
I mean, your aversion to alcohol assumes that you're not participating in that.
I'm not saying I haven't. I'm saying I'm not now.
Interesting.
The
more we learn about Condor.
Dude, I had the broke dick. Like, where do you think these things happened when I wasn't under the influence of alcohol? Why do you think I have such an aversion to alcohol now? Terrible things happen when Irish birds have alcohol.
And you think that marijuana is the correct answer to that problem?
I don't know. I can smoke a shitload of weed and still remember relatively what the fuck I did the night before. If I try to drink the same amount of weed that I smoke, like I wouldn't remember who I was or like why I was doing.
Are we going by weight or volume?
Volume. Yeah, volume.
I wonder if there's actually like a scientific I don't know myself, but I wonder if there's a scientific study about this, of like the amount of weed you smoke versus like how it alters your brain versus the amount of like alcohol you drink. Like if you were to do
what's the equivalency? Yeah, because supposedly I've heard that one glass of wine is equal to one beer is equal to one shot.
That I will disagree with entirely, because so
obviously it depends on the type of beer.
Well, it's more for me. It's more the alcohol by volume. Like
Yeah,
you can have
ABV. I totally get it.
ABV. Like you can have some wines that are at like 14% for a bottle of wine, which I think is 40 some ounces. I don't know the exact specifics on how many
I don't
ounces.
have a fucking clue, bro. I don't drink grape juice.
Neither do I. And then
Yeah,
like
that's not something that I think is fun.
versus a beer, which is can go from like I believe it's 2.5 ABV.
To like 19, 20.
Well, those were the like very like I was more reaching for the like potentially
12, 15.
9, 10 because that's
Yeah.
on average like the IPA, double IPA type stuff that you see.
Right.
Whereas a shot, for example, what I'm drinking right now is 91 proof. I have a bottle that is 128 proof. So a shot of 128 proof liquor, like bourbon, is gonna fuck you up significantly more than
In a glass of wine. Yeah.
a glass of 14% wine.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it's all relative.
Yeah, I think that it's probably this is this will be how we end tonight's episode. Is that I surmise that a 6-pack of beer by a name brand that's mass produced, that's not what I would call a craft brew, is probably equivalent to anywhere between an eighth and a quarter, depending on the strength of the weed.
See, and again, even that, you have different strengths of weed.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, one of the few things where like I thought about it. What's the worst thing that I've ever done under the influence of marijuana? Like too much fun, right? We go back to tonight's topic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Too much fun on weed is a nap or an empty pantry or
the only thing getting
lawn doesn't get mowed.
you talk,
Like I've never
motherfucker. The only thing getting murdered when somebody smokes a joint or some weed, however much you want to quantify, the only thing getting murdered is a bag of Doritos with alcohol.
or a pizza.
Yeah, like or Doritos or pizza or some shit like that. Whereas with alcohol, somebody may literally die.
Yeah, if I smoke enough weed, I don't even want to have sex.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's got to be the one drug where you do more and more and more of it, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know, sweetheart. I'd rather just put on Friends and fall asleep to Ross saying pivot. Like that's what I mean. I don't know. It's been great talking to you again, Fred. I think we're gonna wrap it up. You did last time's episode. I'll take care of it tonight. It's been Talking Chaos with you. We don't know where the conversation takes us most of the time. I hope you guys enjoy it. And thanks again for giving us a listen.
Hey, thanks again for listening, guys. This is the Condor, and if you like what we do, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Talking Chaos. And if you have anything that you'd like to email us, please do so at talkingchaospodcast@gmail.com.